All right. Chapter 3, The Harmonious Life. Whatever is wrong on earth is wrong with man. The discord among men comes from within themselves and not from their environment, and it is in his relationship with others that man displays his deficiencies and weaknesses most clearly. Hypocrisy is one of the most deep rooted evils in the natures of men, for they hate in others the things they fear in themselves. The man who is the most voluble against a particular form of vice is the man who practices it in secret. Men wrap themselves in a mantle of hypocrisy and never uncover their real selves. They declare themselves for or against. They say they believe one thing or the other. They like this or that, but rarely do they declare themselves truthfully or reveal their true thoughts and feelings to others. To overcome this evil, this weakness in men, is one of mankind's greatest battles. To this, the good religion must dedicate itself. Those who follow the good religion should seek their friends among others of similar belief and inclination, and they should not try to walk a double road. No man can hide a thing within his breast forever, and if he is a secret hypocrite, some day it will be made known. Nothing done, known, or experienced during earthly life is lost forever. If your neighbor offended you, then restrain your anger so that your spirit may be benefited. Burdens borne patiently and with courage, and insults ignored, are better for the spirit than any form of penance. Always restrain your anger for the sake of neighborly harmony, but for your own good, remember that the words of an angry man are like glowing embers in his mouth. Anger alone does no great harm to the spirit, but anger with malice or hatred certainly blemishes the purity of a soul. Never try to appease a man in the hour of his anger, but leave him to be consumed in his own fire. Before you vent your anger on a man who has offended you, pause and try to discover some goodness in him, which you lack. It is not required that a person never get angry or become stirred up inside, for sometimes circumstances demand the response of righteous anger. Therefore, be one slow to anger and with complete mastery over the temper, rather than one without the ability to be stirred to anger. Do not be too sweet unless you want to be eaten. When two persons quarrel in anger, both are always in the wrong. The most burdensome person in any community is the one who will not do what he is capable of doing because he cannot do the things he wants to do. Every man must learn the difference between the little things he can do alone and the greater things, which can be done with the cooperation of others, for unity bestows strength. Always be generous in your dealings with a neighbor, and bear in mind that as water quenches fire, so does cheerful restitution atone for a wrong. When a neighbor greets you cheerfully, answer him in the same manner, for a surly face is a frown, or a frown frightens away the hand of friendship. All right. Generosity and kind heartedness are excellent qualities, but those who possess them should be vigilant, for it is not inconceivable that the goodness they do may sometimes result in more evil than good. Always treat the property of your neighbor on his or his friends as you would wish your own property and friends to be treated. Never speak without thought, for words cannot be recalled, and things said may remain beyond recall forever. A lightly spoken word may ruin a life or destroy the contentment of a family. The guiding rule is not only to say the right thing in the right place, but also to leave unsaid the wrong thing at the moment when it is most tempting to utter it. This is the rule of conversation. Is it true? Is it instructive? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Do not be crude in speech or rough in manner, for these reveal a hidden weakness. Courtesy, consideration, and good manners are necessary ingredients in the cement of neighborliness. The cement of friendship is mutual suffering. A man should never talk to a woman in a manner which would outrage her modesty, but common women have sacrificed their modesty and cannot be outraged. Therefore, the manner of a man's speech in the presence of a woman indicates his opinion of her and her reputation. Always be vigilant when in the company of women, for no greater insult can be offered to a man than to imply that his wife, mother, daughter, or sister is a common woman. A strong man can afford to be gentle and quiet whenever he is, but a weak man must be rough and boastful to boast himself. The man who is always boasting himself is certainly one who needs boosting. If some misfortune has befallen a neighbor, or he is out of favor with the rulers, he will be suffering the miseries of shame, and therefore to visit him under these circumstances might add to it. It is a matter of discretion and tact as to when he should be visited. Whatever he has done, treat him with kindness and consideration. The fruits of kindness are sweet, but the fruits of hatred and malice lie heavily on the stomach. As surely as night follows day, as a man deals with others, so will he be dealt with. If a man does not wish his own possessions to be touched, he should show the same respect for the possessions of another man. Likewise, if he respects his own reputation and expects others to respect it also, he should hold the reputation of others in the same high regard. If he does not wish to become the subject of gossip, he should not gossip about anyone else. As a man expects his own home and family to be treated, so should he treat the home and family of another. As he cherishes the good name of his wife and the welfare of his children, so should he cherish the good name of another's wife and the welfare of his children. Deal charitably with your neighbors, and whenever the opportunity to do good arises, do not hesitate to do it. However, a single act of charity means that the heart has been stirred only once. It may be just a sudden urge that passes, and charity is a continuing process. A man can find peace and happiness in his home only when his wife and family have it, and these things cannot be portioned out. The man with strife at home has a lot more misery than that of a hungry dog. When a guest, bear in mind that the ways of a host are always right in the eyes of his guest. Always live according to your beliefs, for to do otherwise is hypocrisy. One of the tasks of a good religion is to teach men that they have to bridge the gap between what they believe to be right and what shit. Always live according to your own beliefs, for to do otherwise is hypocrisy. One of the tasks of the good religion is to teach men that they have to bridge the great gap between what they believe to be right and the way they live. Also, though many men know how they should live, very few do in fact live that way. Though it is proper for a man to marry early, it is not right to marry with undue haste. For a man to take a wife before he can support her or before he can understand her is foolishness. A man who takes a wife in unwise haste ties a millstone around his own neck and can blame none but himself for the consequences. A man should never take a wife until he has read through the sacred books many times. Stand firm in your belief as to what is right and what is wrong. Never surrender your principles or betray your ideals. Yet do not let your mind become bigoted or prejudiced, for the man of unchanging mind is as water, which, standing still, becomes stagnant and filled with slime. His thoughts are like water imprisoned within a vase until it becomes foul. Tact and self-control, the exercise of moderation in all things, and a disciplined ambition with attainable aim, a kind heart and truthful tongue, these are the things which smooth the way along the path of life. The maggots that eat away the body of peace and contentment are undue haste, thoughtlessness, indifference, and malice. Do not be unduly afraid of being poor. It is better to have only a few possessions with just sufficient to maintain the health of the body than to have vitality sapping and spiritually invigorating abundance of the rich. Happiness cannot be bought, and a joyful heart makes a healthy body. Pure love, not wealth, is the most desirable of treasures, for it hollows the brief days of life and fills them to overflowing with spiritual wealth of everlasting value. Along the high road of life, man and woman must walk together hand in hand. The two together are meant to make their joint love a harmonious whole, and the life of one without the other is incomplete. Yet in these times, true matrimonial harmony appears to be one of the most difficult things to achieve because of the spiritual immaturity resulting from the inadequacy of existing religious doctrines. This, too, must be remedied. Do not be too hasty in judging a wrongdoer, for it may well be that though he has been found in some wickedness, the good in him is greater than the good in you. Perhaps in the divine view he is a better man than you are. Disobedience to the laws of men with the sincere and considered intention of doing good is better than any abject submission to them without any such motive. The golden rule of harmonious living is that a man must master his desires, control his will, and serve his conscience.